The fluorescent lights hummed in the silence of the empty convenience store. 2 a.m., the dead zone between the late-night drunks and the early-morning truckers. Marcus Webb stood behind the counter, restocking cigarettes with methodical precision. Same routine for 3 years. Same midnight to 8 shift. Same predictable pattern. Except tonight, 3 men were about to walk through that door with guns and bad intentions. And they had no idea that the quiet night Clerk they'd chosen to rob had spent 12 years as a SWAT operator in one of the most dangerous cities in America. Before we dive into this story of split-second decisions, tactical expertise, and what happens when professionals mistake silence for weakness, tell me in the comments from which city are you watching this video today. And if you believe that underestimating someone can be the biggest mistake you ever make, hit that subscribe button. Because what happens in the next 20 minutes will show you why experience doesn't announce itself until it absolutely has to. Marcus Webb was 46 years old, 6'2", lean build that had once been pure muscle but had softened slightly around the edges. His hair was graying at the temples, reading glasses perched on his nose as he scanned inventory lists. He wore the standard store uniform, red polo shirt with the company logo, black pants, non-slip shoes. Nothing remarkable, nothing threatening, just another middle-aged guy working a dead-end job to pay the bills. But that wasn't the whole story. Marcus had joined the police academy at 21, made SWAT team by 25, spent the next 12 years responding to the calls that regular patrol officers couldn't handle. Hostage situations, barricaded suspects, high-risk warrant executions, active shooters. He'd breached doors in neighborhoods where backup was always too far away and mistakes meant body bags. He'd learned to read environments in microseconds, to assess threats before they materialized, to move through confined spaces with lethal efficiency, to stay calm when everyone else was screaming. He'd been good at it, really good. His team had the highest successful resolution rate in the department. Lowest use of force complaints, highest officer's safety record, but good didn't mean easy. 12 years of adrenaline, 12 years of seeing the worst of humanity, 12 years of going home to an empty apartment because the job had destroyed his marriage and distanced him from his kids. By 37, he was burned out, exhausted. The nightmares weren't stopping. The hypervigilance was bleeding into civilian life. He couldn't go to a restaurant without mapping exits. Couldn't sleep without checking locks 3 times. His department psychologist suggested a break, maybe permanent. Marcus took the hint. Retired early. Pension wasn't great, but it was something. He tried construction. Hated it. Tried private security. Too many memories. Then he saw the help wanted sign at the 7-Eleven on Route 9. Night shift. Quiet. Minimal human interaction. Perfect. He'd been working there for 3 years. His coworkers thought he was weird. Too quiet. Too observant. The morning shift manager once joked that Marcus acted like he was guarding Fort Knox instead of selling lottery tickets and energy drinks. Marcus never explained. Never mentioned his background. What was the point? This was his life now. Simple. Predictable. Safe. Except tonight wasn't going to be any of those things. The black sedan pulled into the parking lot at 2:14 a.m. Marcus noticed it immediately. Not because it was unusual for cars to stop at a convenience store at 2 in the morning, but because of how it parked. Backed into a space. Angled toward the exit. Engine running. 3 occupants. None of them getting out. Marcus continued restocking cigarettes. But his posture changed. Shoulders squared, weight shifted to the balls of his feet. His right hand moved closer to the phone under the counter. The store had a silent alarm. Red button. Direct line to police dispatch. Marcus's finger hovered near it, but he didn't press. Not yet. The driver's door opened. Young man, early 20s, dark hoodie, hands in pockets. He walked toward the store entrance but stopped just outside. Looked back at the car. Waited. Second door opened. Another young man, same age range, same hoodie. He joined the first at the entrance. They exchanged words. Marcus couldn't hear through the glass, but he read their body language. Nervous, amped up, psyching each other up. Third man stayed in the car, engine still running. Marcus pressed the alarm. 3 clicks. Code for robbery in progress. Suspects armed. Then he moved. Not toward the back room. Not toward the exit. He moved to the end of the counter, positioning himself at an angle that gave him clear sight lines to the entrance, the aisles, and the register. He picked up a box of inventory, held it casually, but his eyes never left the door. The 2 men entered. Ski mask pulled down. Guns out. Small caliber. Probably 9mm. 1 revolver. 1 semi-automatic. The first man, taller, pointed his gun at Marcus. Nobody moved. Empty the register. Now, Marcus set down the box slowly, raised his hands to shoulder height. Palms out. Non-threatening. Okay, no problem. Take whatever you want. The second man moved down the center aisle, checking for other customers, other threats. Clear, he called out. The tall man stepped closer to the counter. His gun hand was shaking. Amateur. Scared. Dangerous combination. I said open the register. Marcus nodded, moving slow. Gonna reach for the keys. That okay. Just do it. Marcus reached under the counter, not for keys. For the aluminum baseball bat he'd kept there since his second week on the job. The store owner had installed it for protection. Marcus had never needed it. Until now. His hand closed around the grip. He didn't pull it out. Not yet. He hit the register open button with his other hand. The drawer popped out with a ding. About $300 in small bills. The tall man grabbed a plastic bag from his pocket. Fill it. All of it. Marcus started transferring bills, moving deliberately, buying time. Police response time to this location was approximately 4 minutes. He timed it. The alarm had been triggered 45 seconds ago. 3 minutes, 15 seconds to go. The second man was getting antsy. Come on, man. Hurry up. The tall man turned toward his partner. Just chill. We got time. Mistake. He'd taken his eyes off Marcus, divided his attention. Marcus's SWAT instructor had drilled one principle into his head over 12 years. The moment your opponent looks away is the moment you move. Marcus moved. He pulled the bat in one smooth motion, swung in a tight arc connected with the tall man's gun hand. The impact was precise, calculated, just enough force to break his grip without shattering bones. The gun flew from his hand, skidded across the floor behind the counter. The tall man screamed, grabbed his hand, stumbled backward. The second man spun around, raised his revolver, but Marcus was already moving. He vaulted the counter, not over it, through the side opening, closing distance. In close quarters combat, distance is death. Get close. Eliminate the gun's advantage. He covered the 8 feet between them in less than 2 seconds. The second man fired. One shot. Wild. High. The bullet punched through the ceiling tile. Marcus didn't flinch. Didn't slow. He was inside the gun's effective range now. He grabbed the revolver with his left hand, pushed it up and away, twisted his body, drove his right elbow into the man's solar plexus. The air exploded out of the man's lungs. He doubled over. Marcus stripped the gun from his hand, dropped it, kicked it toward the far aisle, followed up with a knee to the man's face. Not full force. Enough to daze. Not enough to kill. The man crumpled. The tall man was recovering, reaching for something in his waistband. Second gun, or knife. Marcus didn't wait to find out. He closed the distance again, bat still in his right hand. He swung low, connected with the man's knee. Lateral strike. The joint buckled. The man went down. Marcus kicked the second weapon away. Small knife. He swept it under a shelf with his foot. Both men on the ground, disarmed, dazed but conscious. 2 minutes 30 seconds since the alarm. Police still en route. But there was a third man. Outside in the car, Marcus moved to the window, looked out. The driver had seen everything through the glass. He was making a choice. Help his friends or run. He chose run. The sedan peeled out of the parking lot. Tires smoking. Marcus memorized the plate number. Partial at least. Enough. He returned to the two men on the floor. Pulled zip ties from under the counter. Another precaution he'd installed himself. The store owner had asked why he needed industrial zip ties. Marcus had shrugged. Never know. He zip-tied both men's hands behind their backs. Checked them for additional weapons. Found 2 phones. 1 wallet. Small bag of pills. Probably the real reason for the robbery. Desperation funding addiction. Marcus sat on the counter, picked up the phone, called 911. This is Marcus Webb at the 7-Eleven on Route 9. I just defended against an armed robbery. 2 suspects in custody. 1 fled in a black sedan. He gave the partial plate. The description. The dispatcher sounded confused. So, we already have units responding to your silent alarm. Are you injured? No, neither are the suspects. They'll need medical evaluation. Possible broken hand. Possible broken knee. But they are stable. The dispatcher paused. So, did you say you have both suspects in custody? Yes. How? Marcus looked at the 2 men on the floor. Both groaning. Both zip-tied. Both completely neutralized. I asked them to wait for police, he said. They agreed. Police arrived 3 minutes later. 4 units. Lights flashing. Officers entered with weapons drawn. Expecting chaos. What they found was Marcus sitting calmly on the counter. 2 suspects secured on the floor. Both guns cleared and placed on the far end of the counter. Store security footage already queued up on the monitor. The first officer through the door was a sergeant. Late 30s. 20 a veteran by the look of his bearing. He swept the scene. Lowered his weapon. Looked at Marcus. You the clerk? Marcus nodded. What happened here? Attempted robbery. 2 suspects entered armed. I disarmed and restrained them. 3rd suspect fled in a vehicle. I have the partial plate and description. The sergeant stared at him. You disarmed them? Yes, sir. Both of them? Yes, sir. The sergeant looked at his officers. Secure the suspects. Get EMS in here. Then he approached Marcus. You got training? Marcus hesitated, then said, Some? What kind of some? SWAT. 12 years. The sergeant's expression changed. Where? Metro PD Eastern Division. The sergeant nodded slowly. I know that unit. You're Marcus Webb. Marcus was surprised. You know me? The sergeant smiled slightly. I was patrol when you guys pulled that hostage rescue in 09. Apartment complex. 3 armed subjects. You breached alone when your team's flashbang failed. Saved 2 kids. Marcus remembered. That was a long time ago. The sergeant extended his hand. Sergeant Mills. Honored to meet you, sir. Marcus shook it. Just Marcus. What the hell are you doing working night shift at a 7-Eleven? Marcus shrugged. Needed quiet. Got quiet. Mills laughed. Until tonight. Yeah, until tonight. The paramedics checked the 2 suspects. Broken hand. Sprained knee. Bruised ribs. Nothing permanent. They'd survive. Both were arrested. Both declined to speak without attorneys. The store owner arrived 30 minutes later. Panicked. Apologizing. Marcus, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Did they hurt you? Marcus was restocking the cigarettes that had fallen during the altercation. I'm fine. They are not. The owner looked at the scene. The police. The suspects being loaded into ambulances. The security footage playing on loop. How did you? I got lucky. The owner shook his head. That wasn't luck. That was... He searched for words. That was amazing. Marcus kept restocking. Just doing my job. Your job is to sell cigarettes, not fight armed robbers. Marcus looked at him. My job is whatever needs doing." The owner was quiet for a moment, then said, "Corporate's going to want to give you an award." Marcus stopped restocking. "I don't want an award, but you saved." "I don't want attention," Marcus said firmly. "I want to keep working my shift. Keep doing my job. Keep things quiet. Please." The owner stuttered him, then nodded. "Okay, but you're getting a raise." Marcus almost smiled. "Appreciate that." The store reopened at 4 a.m. Regular customers started trickling in. Most had no idea what had happened 2 hours earlier. Marcus served them like always. Coffee, donuts, lottery tickets. "Good morning. Have a nice day." But one customer, an older trucker who stopped every Thursday morning, noticed something different. "You okay, Marcus?" "You seem, I don't know, different." Marcus handed him his coffee. "Same as always." The trucker squinted at him, then noticed the scuffed marks on the floor, the broken ceiling tile, the police tape outside. Something happened here. Marcus swiped his credit card. Just a minor incident. Nothing to worry about. The trucker looked at the security monitor, still showing the frozen frame of Marcus mid-swing with the bat. "That's you." Marcus bagged his coffee. "Have a safe drive." The trucker took his coffee, stayed at Marcus, then smiled. "You're one of those quiet badasses, aren't you?" Marcus didn't respond. The trucker laughed. "Don't worry, your secret's safe with me." He left. Marcus returned to restocking. His shift ended at 8 a.m. The morning clerk arrived. Young guy, college student. "Hey Marcus, heard there was some excitement last night." Marcus handed him the inventory clipboard. "Register's balanced. Stock's done. Cooler's full." "But what happened?" "Nothing that needs repeating." The young clerk looked disappointed. "Come on, man. Everyone's talking about it. Social media's blowing up. Someone posted the security footage." Marcus's jaw tightened. "They what?" The clerk pulled out his phone. Showed him. The footage was everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Millions of views already. Comments flooding in. "Hero Night Clerk destroys armed robbers." Former SWAT operator still has it. This guy's a legend. Marcus closed his eyes, took a breath. This was exactly what he didn't want. The attention, the recognition, the reminder of who he used to be. He grabbed his jacket. "I'm going home." "Marcus, wait. Are you?" "I'm fine. Just tired." He left through the back door, avoided the front where a news van was already setting up, drove home in silence. His apartment was small. 1 bedroom, sparse furniture, no decorations except a single photo on the mantle. His SWAT team, 12 years ago, all of them younger, stronger, unbroken. He sat on his couch, turned on his phone. 17 missed calls, 42 text messages, 3 voicemails. He didn't check any of them, just turned the phone off. But sleep didn't come. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. The adrenaline had worn off. The reality was setting in. He'd hurt people. Yes, they'd been armed. Yes, they'd been threatening. Yes, he'd had no choice. But he'd still hurt them. And that familiar feeling was creeping back. The hypervigilance, the replaying of every moment, the questioning of every decision. This was why he'd left. This was why he'd chosen quiet. Because the alternative was this. Over the following days, the story grew. Local news became national news. Marcus Webb, former SWAT operator, working night shift at convenience store. Single-handedly stops armed robbery. Becomes internet hero. Everyone wanted to interview him. Everyone had questions. Why was he working at a convenience store? Why did he leave SWAT? Would he go back? Marcus declined every request. Stayed home. Let his voicemail fill. But on the 5th day, someone knocked on his door. Marcus looked through the people. Sergeant Mills. He opened the door. "Sergeant." "Marcus, can I come in?" Marcus hesitated, then stepped aside. Mills entered. looked around the sparse apartment, sat on the couch. "You hiding?" Marcus stayed standing, just avoiding attention. Mills nodded. "I get it, but you should know. Those two guys you stopped, they weren't just robbing your store. They'd hit 6 other places in 3 weeks. Escalating violence. Last one, they pistol whipped a Clerk, put him in the hospital. You stopped them before they killed someone." Marcus was quiet. Mills continued. "The third guy, the driver, we caught him this morning. He gave up his partners, confirmed everything. You saved lives that night. Probably multiple." Marcus sat down. Didn't feel like saving. Felt like surviving. Mills leaned forward. "That's what it always feels like when you're in it. But from outside, from everyone else's perspective, you're a hero." "I'm not a hero. I'm just..." "What?" Mills asked. "A guy trying to keep his head down. A guy running from his past. A guy pretending he's not one of the most skilled operators this city ever produced." Marcus looked at him. "That life almost killed me. The hypervigilance. The nightmares. I couldn't turn it off." Mills nodded. "I know. I've been there. Different level, but same feeling. You know what helped me?" Marcus waited, accepting that I'll always be that guy. Cop, protector, guardian, whatever you want to call it. It's not a job. It's who I am. Trying to pretend otherwise just made it worse. Marcus said quietly, "So what do I do?" Mills smiled. "You stop hiding. You stop pretending. And you find a way to use what you are in a way that doesn't destroy you." Marcus thought about that. "How?" Mills stood. "That's for you to figure out. But you've got options now. Tactical training, consulting, private security that actually means something. Hell, the department would take you back tomorrow if you wanted." Marcus shook his head. "I can't go back." "Then go forward," Mills said. "But stop standing still." He left his card on the table. "Call me if you want to talk. Or if you just need a beer." Marcus sat alone for a long time after Mills left. Thinking, processing. That night, he went back to work. Same shift, same store, but different. Customers recognized him now. Thanked him. Called him hero. Marcus accepted their thanks quietly. Didn't encourage conversation. But didn't hide either. Because Mills was right. He'd been standing still for 3 years. Pretending to be someone he wasn't. The robbery hadn't changed who Marcus was. It had just reminded him. So now I ask you, have you ever walked away from something you were good at because it hurt too much? Have you ever pretended to be less than you are to feel safe? Have you ever been forced to remember who you really are when you thought you'd left that person behind? Write about it in the comments. Share what you learned. Because stories like Marcus's remind us that who we are doesn't disappear just because we change our circumstances. That skill and training don't fade. That sometimes the quietest person in the room is the most dangerous. And that running from yourself only works until the moment you're needed. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, subscribe. Share it. Help us honor the people who serve, who protect, who carry skills they hope never to use again. But when the moment comes, they don't hesitate. We'll see you in the next one. And until then, remember, never underestimate the quiet ones. You have no idea what they've survived, what they've trained for, or what they're capable of when pushed.